Howdy, folks. I'm Sardonic Stacy, skillfully scaling stabby shrubs.
I'm Amber.
And here are more stabby shrubs for us to scale. This is getting outrageous, Amber. Stabby shrubs? Sardonic Stacy? Amber's got Barbie on the brain. What episode of Barbie is that? Alright, folks, our first letter is titled, Am I the Jerk? My mother-in-law wants my husband to get her pregnant. I'm a 24-year-old female, and my husband is a 26-year-old male. Mom, we'll call her Linda, and she's been harassing me and my husband to give her grandkids. So much that she started buying us baby items, even a crib, for her house. We told her that we wanted to buy a house and enjoy being a newlywed for at least a couple of years before we planned on having kids. She said that she was not getting any younger and wanted us to give her grandkids before she is not able to have fun with them. This is where all hell breaks loose. She invites us over for dinner and says that she has something that she wants to talk to us about. She says, now hear me out before you say anything. I know you guys don't want to get tied down with a kid right now, so I have a solution. She just screams, IVF. Me and my husband look at each other confused, and she goes on to explain. So, her plan was to take my eggs and my husband's sperm and to impregnate her. She will carry our child and take care of it for the first couple of years, and then when we are ready to have kids, we just have to adopt the kid back. That way, we will be able to be parents when we are ready, and she gets to be a grandma. I stood up and I told her, no effing way. You have lost your mind. My husband told her that she was being ridiculous and left. Fast forward to 2 months now since that dinner, and we have gone no contact with his mom. She is now sending us letters that we are breaking her heart and wants us to give her $3,000 for the cost of all the baby items that she bought, since we do not want to give her grandkids out of spite. Well, it turns out that we are 8 weeks pregnant, and are we the jerks for not telling his mom? I don't know if I want her to be a part of my kid's life. Help, what should we do? Kill all contact for good. My husband thinks family therapy, but I'm scared that she will just put up an act and be crazy and try to steal our kid or something. Alright, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. This is a very concerning situation, and I agree with you that there definitely seems like a possibility that she could take your kid.
Well, I mean, I think she was desperate for children, and I think that she wanted the whole being a grandmother experience, and I'm not sure that I think that this was something out of desperation. I don't know what baby fever she has here, and I don't know if she would steal the grandkid or not, but I think that OP and her husband need to tread very, very carefully and lay out some very, very clear boundaries if they do want her part of their life.
Yeah, I mean, I think first thing is, like, you're probably best off giving her back the baby stuff. Like, I know you're having a kid now, but, like, you don't want her holding that I spent all this stuff over your heads.
Yeah.
Whether or not you have a relationship with her moving forward. So if you can swing it, just give her back the baby stuff she bought. And if you're not comfortable having contact with her, I think that's fine. I'm a little, like, baffled here by this, to be completely honest.
I think individual therapy for the mom. I think that she needs to have some things that she needs to work out. And I think that even potentially family therapy might be a good idea. I guess it just depends on whether or not she would sincerely take the therapy seriously or not, or if it would be just whatever, I'm going to blow this type of thing off and just act.
My big concern with her is she seems to have no respect for OP and her son's autonomy.
Yeah.
Like, she seems just like, you owe me this child.
Mm-hmm.
And when people have that little regard for other people, my concern is that, like, she's also going to disregard any of their parenting decisions, and it's just going to become one of those situations where she's essentially trying to parent their child, whether she actually takes the kid and kidnaps them or something, or just like, oh, well, your mom and dad don't know what they're doing. You're my baby now.
Yeah. I mean, I think that there definitely could be some kind of risk of that. And I think that you are right that if they do go no contact with her, then they should return the baby goods as well. And then maybe they will decide to do that anyways, just because they don't want her interfering as much. And there is a lot of concerning things here, and her idea to do this is just out of this world. I mean, it's not a thing that a rational individual suggests. And so I think that she may have something else going on in her life. Maybe she had a health scare or something else, and it made her realize that she doesn't have much time. And so she was really panicking about getting a grandkid because she's afraid that she's not going to have enough health to actually take care of them. And so, but why she would propose then getting pregnant, which is a physically intensive and stress-inducing aspect, is beyond me, right? It just doesn't make a lot of sense from a lot of different angles. But maybe it was a health scare. Turns out she's fine, but it made her realize that her time is short. Who knows? I don't have that's the most charitable I can be on this situation. But let me know what you folks think. Take care and good luck, OP. And Unquantifiable Life says, this is a serious case of baby rabies. Where is his dad in all of this? And OP says that his dad passed away 6 years ago. That's sad. And TJB Murph says, what in the not enough eye bleach in the world did I just read? Not the jerk, and run as fast as your legs will go. And OP replies, I wish I could dump bleach into my ears so I didn't have to hear the crazy. And Striking Aardvark 973 says, move far, far away. And Forgetful Dragon 78 says, I was going to post this too. Definitely look into moving far enough away that she just can't pop in. If you can afford to move, you really need a buffer zone. And Craig Spiel 1939 says, and good locks. Alright folks, and our second and final letter on the Saturday morning special is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Realizing That My Female Coworker is an Engineer? I am a 42-year-old male, and I work at a tech company that works in a very specialized domain. I'm a software engineer, but work with some very customized hardware chips in my day-to-day. My team needed to integrate a new microcontroller into a product that we are designing, and since I'm the lead for this software that will interact with this component, my manager set up a meeting for me with the electrical engineer in charge of designing the component, who is on a different team. I have worked with various such other teams in the past, but this component was one that is considered quite specialized. When my manager and I talked about it, he did not refer much to the engineer that I would be meeting with and referred to the team and used they-them pronouns. I referred to the designer as he many times and my manager didn't correct me. The name was also very gender neutral. When I went into the meeting room, there was a younger woman in the room, probably in her mid to late 20s. None of the electrical engineers I have ever met before at my company have been a woman, and in general, the few women engineers have all worked on things like web and front-end interface development. Since my manager had not corrected me when I said he, him, I assumed that this person was some kind of product manager on their team or something. She was also very dressed up in a skirt, heels, and makeup, which is the attire that a project manager and HR typically have. I would also expected someone in this position to be much older. So I told her that I'll be right back and make some coffee while we wait for the engineer to arrive and to message me on Slack if he arrives. When I get back, I said something like, he hasn't arrived yet. She then finally mentioned that she was the engineer and angrily stormed off. I sent an apology email to her, but she has not responded yet. But an HR representative has added a meeting to my work calendar, and I can see that she has a meeting at the same time on hers. Am I the jerk here? I feel embarrassed and did not mean to assume that she was not the engineer. Had my manager told me, or had she had a feminine name or a profile picture, I would not have done so. I looked up her profile, and she is really the most qualified person to work with me on this, even though she's really young. Alright folks, what do you think?
Yeah, OP, I think you're being a bit of a jerk here, and you're letting your internalized sexism cloud how you treat people, and I think it's a great opportunity to reflect on all of these things. Like, I think we all make honest mistakes, but you seem to want to push all the blame onto, oh, she doesn't have a feminine enough name. Oh, she was dressed femininely. And like you have all these little, like, you don't want to accept any culpability, and I think that's a bit of a problem here.
I mean, I think that's my biggest issue here, is that OP blames his manager, he blames her, he blames everyone else, but he doesn't actually say, I was wrong to assume, make all these different assumptions. And certainly, I do actually think that the manager should have corrected him on the gender. He should have said, oh, she's actually going to be meeting with you. And why he didn't, I don't know. Maybe he didn't know that she was a woman, or had not known for sure.
Or not known who the lead on that, because it seems like the manager was referring to the team mostly, and he may not have known who the lead was on that team or anything like that.
And I mean, I'm sorry that OP, you made some poor decisions here, and I think that you can take this as a learning lesson in the future to not make assumptions, right? Even if someone doesn't correct you on something, don't make any kind of assumptions, and just introduce yourself and say, oh, hey, I'm blah, 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 instead of being like, hey, I'm going to walk out and get some coffee.
Well, and that's the other thing that I'm glad you brought that up, because that was the other thing I wanted to touch upon, is he seems to place the engineer above everyone else. Even if she was a product manager, how hard would it have been to like walk up and introduce yourself, be like, hey, I'm blah, 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 and sit down at the meeting. It seems like he was saying, oh, you're not the engineer, your time's not worth it, like, I'm gonna go make some coffee.
Exactly. So I think there's a lot of attitude here that needs to be addressed. So certainly, I think that the assumption that she was not a woman was one thing, but then your attitude around the other people here and their role and importance in here is also another thing.
And I think you really need to work on those internalized biases, because again, OP keeps in the comments too, he keeps pushing off against this idea like, oh, well, how could I know? My company has like no women engineers.
Yeah.
And
well, you could have known by just introducing yourself and being like, hey, I'm blah, blah, blah.
Or looking up her profile on LinkedIn or something like that, where she, like, even if she doesn't have like a profile image to the company, you can always Google the person who you're going to be working with. Well, and I think this is an important learning lesson. The engineers can look like anything, and you shouldn't assume because someone is well-dressed or a woman or young that they are not an engineer.
Exactly. And AITA My MIL says, you're the jerk. The professional polite thing would have been to say, hi, I'm OP. Are you X? Instead, you saw a woman, judged her on her appearance, and didn't even bother to ask if she was the engineer. Just wandered off to make coffee. Exactly. That whole situation could have been addressed very, very differently. And Not a Bot says, I can't get over the fact that OP saw a woman in the room and immediately thought, oh, she's not important enough for me to introduce myself to. I'm just going to excuse myself to go make coffee. But then he even notes how well dressed she is and uses that to further write her off. I hate old male engineers like this. Oh, I normally don't see female engineers. Yeah, because it's like this stuff that deters them from staying an engineer. Give them the respect that they deserve. Well said. All right, folks, it is tea time, or coffee time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some coffee right here, and Amber, she's got a joke related to coffee. It's a coffee joke.
I do not have a coffee joke. You need to tell me in advance if you want me to give you specific jokes, because I can do that. What do you call a sleeping bovine?
Oh, I can tell you exactly what you call a sleeping bovine. You call them a bovine that hasn't had enough coffee. We did it. No. We made it a coffee joke. It's funny because bovine, coffee, coffee.
A bulldozer.
A bulldozer that hasn't had enough coffee. And I have coffee. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy, special, spectacular Saturday. Folks, as you can see, I did take the time to update the live stream stuff, so it is updated now. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidances, and please have it in the form of a subject title for an HR report.
Please do not make assumptions about the engineers before you meet them.
I think that's a good moral. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
Alright, folks, our first letter on this Saturday morning special is titled, Am I a Jerk? My mother-in-law wants to get my husband pregnant. Other way around.